And the Hangout on Air is now live. Woo!
Woohoo!
I haven't done this in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it feels like forever. I feel like it's been forever since I've done a live show, and I'm excited to be back. Oh, goodness. I'm going to start off by playing my theme music. Yeah. Excellent. That's enough of that. All right. So welcome to another PaulTalks live show. I am Paul Roth. I'm a 40-year-old guy from Washington, D.C. I've got the channel PaulTalks. And this week, I am joined by my friend...
MagicCatJenny. That's me. I'm Jenny. And I'm a magic cat.
That's how I've always thought of you.
Yep, it's true. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel called MagicCatJenny and all the other social medias of the same name. And I do lots of various types of videos. It's all across the board.
Excellent. Excellent. And do you mind people knowing where you are, or where you relocated from?
Yeah, no, of course. I actually had a whole road trip travel series about it. So,
oh, that's right.
Originally, I'm from California, and I lived in Los Angeles for quite a few years, like a very long time. And I recently drove all the way across the country, and I'm now living in Annapolis, Maryland. So, very different. I've been here for about 2 months, 2.5 months. I just got here. It's a very new development in my life. But yeah, so there you go.
Well, I'm glad that you're on the East Coast and relatively close to me. You're only like an hour's drive away from me. Yeah. I can come visit you now.
Yeah, you were my first official visitor to my new place. If you don't count my husband's brother, Eric, who helped us drive across the country. It was the 3 of us in 2 cars. So he was technically the first visitor because he was there when we all got here together, but I don't really count it. So you were the first official visitor to our new house. Oh.
Excellent. And it was very nice. I had a lovely time just hanging out with you guys, wandering around in Annapolis downtown and chatting on the couch. It was good times.
It was the 4th of July.
Yeah, 4th of July. That's the kind of 4th of July celebration I like, a chill one.
Yeah, just kind of hanging out.
That suits my personality. Well, I discovered you, gosh, I know it was over a year ago because I already knew who you were before VidCon 2014, which is why I recognized you at VidCon.
Yeah, it was during the secret show. I remember because you came up to me and you said hey, I watch your videos. I know who you are. And I was just like, what? That's cool. And then we became friends.
That's right. It wasn't. I forgot that. I mean, now that as soon as you say it, it comes back to me. The standout memory for me is that at the end of Disney Day 2014, I was so exhausted. I just wanted to get back to my hotel and sleep. But the person I was with had to do some stuff at the ticket office, so I was just waiting around. And you and Jim walked by, and I recognized you at Disney Day as well. So you were like the last YouTubers I saw at VidCon that year. It was great.
Oh man, and I missed VidCon this year, which was sad. Here,
it is sad. Well, I think as we've mentioned on Facebook, there is this playlist live happening in DC at the very beginning of September, and I'm at least 75% sure that I am going to go to playlist live. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it's so close, and I haven't gone to any cons this year. Like this weekend, there's 2 cons happening that is all over the internet. Summer in the City in the UK, and then D23 Expo, the Disney Expo. Which previous place of employment is at right now, and tweeting all these pictures. Here, guys, but it's okay. So I'm considering going. I just have to see if I can justify the cost of a ticket, because it's a bit difficult right now, but we'll see. I haven't said no completely, because I do want to go to YouTubey things, because that's my everything. I love YouTube.
Yeah, I love YouTube too. I have a bit of a complicated relationship with YouTube sometimes, but in the end,
I think a lot of people do. I mean, there's no one, you know, online community that's perfect. So there's gonna be days where you're not quite in love with it, for sure.
Yes. Although, yeah, I mean, as a place where I can connect to people, it is just the best. It allows me to stay in my comfort zone, namely in my apartment, far away from everybody else, and yet still connect with people. So that's great.
Yeah, no, and I really love that too. And I want to do more of that. Recently, I've had a computer situation. I'm actually not even on my own computer, so I haven't uploaded videos to my channel for like 2 weeks now, which is a really long break, really long unexpected break that I didn't intend to take. So I need to figure out a way, because I don't know when I'm getting my computer back. I need to figure out a way to make more videos in the meantime to kind of get back into it. But what I'm thinking of doing once I do get my computer back is to, because you were saying earlier to me that my live show about a year ago inspired you to make these live shows.
Yes.
And now these live shows that you're making is inspiring me back again to want to do that.
Hooray.
So, yeah, so I want to, once I get all my hardware situation fixed and solved, which might not be till September, but once that happens, I want to do these live shows again, like in a way, the way you're doing them, but a little bit different too. So yeah, I hope that's something that like people would be interested in. You know, I love yours. I've watched a bunch of yours that you've done. I just watched them like yesterday and the day before, just kind of get in the groove, the PaulTalks groove.
Excellent.
Cool. Yeah, I really liked them. I mean, like I like just, you know, kind of talking with people and then seeing who's watching and talking with them as well. It's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very rewarding for me. And I mean, when I first started doing these, I was inspired by you, and I think somebody else had also done a live show, but I can't remember who that other person was. But I was inspired by a couple of people, yourself included, and I thought, well, these live shows are a great way for me to give almost instantaneous feedback to the people who have done me the service of subscribing to me and viewing my videos and commenting on my videos. And if they like me enough that they want to get some sort of reaction from me, then this is a way for me to do that.
Yeah.
But then I also kind of thought, well, I have at the time I had over 1,000 subscribers, but I'm not sure exactly how many. And I was a little bit nervous. Well, if these people are actively watching my videos and they all tune in at the same time, I won't be able to handle that.
Yeah.
Of course, I discovered that like I get 5 to 20 viewers at a time. I can handle this ad infinitum. It's fine. But at some time I thought if I ever got bigger to the point where these became unmanageable. Hi, Matt Palka in the chat.
Let me get the chat up.
Yeah.
Let me get the chat up.
You do that while I keep on blathering on a little bit. Oh yeah, so my thought was that at some point I would make these live shows more of a Patreon benefit type thing, a Patreon perk, like low end, like I'll just give like $1 a month and I would give you let you into the show. But that way I'd be able to keep it under control. But again, it hasn't really gotten to that size or that much of a problem. So I'm happy to keep on doing these ad infinitum. And then as I started doing them, I realized that I can use these as an opportunity to help lift up other YouTubers who are little YouTubers who don't have very many subscribers. And you know, it's kind of a way of getting to know somebody's personality without having to pick through their videos to see the different aspects of everything. You can just see everything about a person essentially in an hour or two as they chat with me. That's
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like it when I get people connected on the internet. That's my favorite thing. Asante, my friend Asante, specifically told me that, you know, I might mess up sometimes. I might misspeak or do the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. But what I try to be at heart is a connector of people. And I think if I keep on coming back to that, I can probably do some good.
That's awesome. That's such a great motive. Like, I totally understand that kind of bringing people together thing. Like, I did that back in 2011 with Cal NerdCon.
Yes, your Cal NerdCon. That's so cool.
Yeah, that, I mean, like, and that's like the whole point, is to just like bring people together who are interested in the same things and share similar, you know, likes and you know, just kind of becoming like a little family that supports each other. I love that.
I like that too. I like that a lot. I mean, and you mentioned Summer in the Cities happening right now in the UK, and I have I'm obviously not in the UK, but I've been trying to share stuff on Twitter so that people who happen to follow me might be able to find each other. Hopefully that is happening over there.
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I wanted my idea I had, which I have a lot of work to do to make it a reality, is to do a kind of live stream like yours, but to specifically talk about YouTube and about videos, you know, and to kind of feature certain videos, maybe that are under a certain amount of views too, to kind of like share things that we find and to help other people find those in art, you know. So that's something I want to work on, to try to, you know, to talk about the YouTube platform, talk about, you know, YouTube analytics and things that like I do in my job, but then also, you know, show awesome people who not a lot of people see, you know, like, of course you could talk about what's trending and the popular stuff that everybody knows about, but I think it's more interesting to talk about a really awesome video you saw that maybe has like 300 views, you know. That's my idea.
It's a good idea. We need more of that.
Started. Yeah, if I can get it started in September, that's my goal. Hopefully I have my computer back by then.
Excellent. I have also not been putting up videos for a little while. I've purposefully chosen, like, it wasn't a reluctance thing. It wasn't a any sort of obstacles thing. I've purposely chosen to take August to not vlog. I think that was like I I remember at one point before VidCon, I made a comment about how people like me haven't been posting videos in a while, so they're frantically trying to post a video before VidCon happens. And then one of my friends and viewers said to me, "You post all the time." So for me, taking a 1 week break felt like I was taking a long time between videos.
Yeah.
Because I tried to put up a couple, 2 or 3 videos a week.
Right.
And I got to the point where I realized I don't think that I was putting up bad videos necessarily, but I was like reflexively vlogging. I was putting up stuff that without even like thinking about the repercussions of it. And you know, I think that
it all becomes a blur.
It becomes a blur, and it also became. It was kind of like an addictive action for me. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I'm an addict to it, but I definitely have kind of an addictive personality. And I don't like what that makes me do when I feel addicted to something. My choices go bad. So Veda's happening this month, or Vlogus, however you want to call it. And I've been spending the month just supporting the heck out of everybody else, trying to watch everybody's videos, comment where I can, and not participate myself. And that's been a weird, but kind of like self-revelatory exercise for me.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm planning on uploading videos again in September, but just not the rest of this month. This live stream being the exception.
Right. Sure. A little different.
It is a little different.
Yeah. No, I mean, mine was very much an unplanned situation where I'd actually planned to vlog 7 days in a row for a BookTube-a-thon.
Oh yeah.
I uploaded my first one and I was like, gonna post these every day all week. See you tomorrow. And then I never posted beyond that because of what happened. So I kind of feel like I need to address that. I need to just kind of like post an apology video of like, I said I was gonna see you tomorrow and it's 2 weeks later. So I might even need to resort to using like iMovie on my husband's computer, which is what this is, just because I don't know when I'm gonna have mine back. Hopefully in September, but like I feel guilty leaving people hanging, even if, you know, it's 3 people probably that I'm leaving hanging, but still I'm like,
I understand. I definitely understand. We're also joined in the chat by Scozio. So I got Matt and Scozio. Hi guys.
Hello people. Oh man.
If worst comes to worst, you could always just like do an iPhone vlog or webcam vlog like this right here.
Yeah, I might have to kind of just like lo-fi it, lo-fi, no editing.
Nothing wrong with that. And there may be a resurgence of lo-fi vlogs happening before the end of the year. I feel like there's a kind of a pushback on associating big subscriber count YouTubers with high production value vlogs as if they have to go together, and that's kind of antithetical to the grassroots of YouTube. It's like anybody should be able to put up a video. There should be very little technological restriction on you from being able to do it, outside of literally just having anything with a camera and an internet connection. That's basically it.
Yeah. Well, I think I might do it then, just to do it. I usually upload on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So maybe on Tuesday I'll like turn on the webcam and talk.
I recommend it.
It reminds me of when I started on YouTube, which was like 2006, I think. And I didn't really post very many videos, but that's when I started my first account. And
wow.
I know I've had so many different YouTube channels, which is why I'm like still, 2,000 subscribers, which is small in comparison to other people who started in 2006. But that's because I didn't post very many videos and I had like 5 different channels. But first original channel started in 2006 in April. It was near my birthday. And like this is like how I would shoot my first vlog. When I started doing vlogs, which was probably maybe like 3 or 4 years later, would be just on my computer like this. A little webcam.
That's cool. I mean, the longer the duration of a YouTuber's career, the more likely we are to find videos just like this in their back archives.
Yeah, if I hadn't privated all of them on all my old channels. I may eventually make those live again, just for the sake of, historians and my own sort of interest. But yeah, once I started my current one, MagicCatJenny, I like went to all my old channels and just like privated all the old stuff. I was like embarrassed, but I don't know, maybe one day.
Maybe in a few years I'll feel that way about my channel as well. Matt Polka points out in the chat, Ashley Mardell makes low-quality vlogs on her One Take Ashley channel, and they're still good. That's true, and I watch them pretty regularly.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I have some one-take lo-fi stuff on my second channel. I just don't put a ton of effort into my second channel since it's kind of a dumping ground sort of a thing, but
that's kind of how I treat my main channel. So I'm certainly not one to criticize that. I just put anything on here.
It's awesome, but it's also a curse that I see everything through the point of view of an optimizer and like a marketer because of my last job, and because, when you see things through the eyes of an MCN like that, you tend to be way more business-minded when it comes to channels, which can be very destructive for creativity and, authenticity as well. But it can also be helpful if you are trying to be the best, like, put your best foot forward and try to, to care about your channel. But there's a fine line that like sometimes it's just hard to manage. So it's interesting that I'm not working there right now and to kind of be able to do a little bit more of whatever I want, but at the same time that voice is always there, that's like the best practices basically, which is hard because sometimes you want to be the little rebel in your head being like, no, I don't want to be the man. I'm going to unoptimize everything. But then it's like, well, does it matter either way if you're being yourself?
That's true. I mean, I think being yourself is important, especially if you're doing a vlog type channel where your brand is basically just your personality.
Yeah.
By all means, be yourself. But I always kind of remember what my what I learned from my AP English teacher way back in high school, which was when we rebellious kids who thought we were so smart would try to hand in assignments that broke the rules. She would say to us, you know, I understand that you want to break the rules, and some of the greatest writers do that. But before the greatest writers broke the rules, they learned what they were.
Exactly.
So you know them first,
exactly.
figure out how they work, and then you can break them with like finesse and facility.
Yeah, and thought behind it. You know, with a very specific purpose. Yeah. That's great. That's how I feel, you know, because I spent, you know, my last career, my last job learning the rules, learning them inside and out. And so now, you know, when I do break them, I know why I'm breaking them and for what, you know, what result that's getting me or what reasons, what emotions are behind that choice. So.
Yes. And I try to do that both kind of implicitly, and recently I've been wanting to do that more explicitly, where I just try to challenge what is typically done in vlogs and make it really surfaced, really expose what I'm doing to my viewers. When I say things like, well, this is the part of my vlog that is the outro. So I'm going to explicitly talk to you about something that is outro specific in this vlog, rather than just doing it and masking it behind the structure. Most of it's to see what happens, to see what I can push in various directions, and see how that turns out. I'm amused by the fact that in our chat, Matt and Scozy are just talking about food, just chatting about food with each other. I want to thank Matt for his videos on mindfulness, which kind of followed up from Miss Elena Fender's video on mindfulness that she did with Ashley Mardell. Mindfulness is a concept that I think would be beneficial for me to fight some of my brain monsters, and I don't enact those concepts very well yet, but I keep on thinking about them, and hopefully is going to make me settle down my brain and think about things better. But thank you, Matt, for your videos on mindfulness.
That's cool. I need some video recommendations, because with my sort of unexpected YouTube break, my unplanned, unwanted YouTube break, it's also been a break from actually watching anything on YouTube as well. Because for a while there, like, I didn't even have my husband's computer, and I don't really like watching YouTube on other devices when I want to connect with the person. Like, I'll watch, you know, clips from late night shows on, you know, my iPad or something like that. But if I want to connect with someone, I want to be logged into my channel so I can be able to comment and like and save the video and do things like that. So I haven't been on my subscription feed in the last 2 weeks. And it's been longer than that, because right before this sort of unexpected break, I was in Hawaii for like a week and a half for my honeymoon. That was like no internet for that, like no YouTube for that whole entire time, just beach, nothing else. So I'm yeah,
that like, sounds horrible. What a terrible experience for you to go on a honeymoon on the beach.
But no, so I'm like a month behind my subscription feed probably. So if there's anybody who in the comments of this live stream, or if anyone wants to tweet me or anything, like just videos I should watch, interesting things, stuff that you made, stuff that someone else made that you really like. I want to get back to seeing what everyone's up to, I guess.
I mean, I'll tell you off the top of my head, there were these two recent videos from Cheska Lee and Lacey Green about intersectional feminism and badass feminists of color. Those are two excellent videos.
Cool.
So I'm sure all you do is glance at their Twitter accounts, and they've got their videos posted over and over again. And then let's see here. Rowan Ellis has recently been doing some good stuff on her channel, post VidCon. Alexandria Johnson put up a video about wanting to do a disabilities panel at VidCon, which is excellent. And then, in the chat, Matt Palka says you can hop into his Veda playlist. Check out that.
Yeah, I will do that. Also, I realized too, Paul, I could just go to your Twitter.
I do try to share a lot of videos.
You do, and it's great. Yeah, it's funny too. Sometimes I'll tweet out that I'll say, "Hey, I'm behind on my subscriptions. Anyone want to send me cool videos?" And like nobody responds. And you never. I'm like, I'm asking you to like share with me your videos, and like nothing. So I don't know. I think I need to follow more YouTubers on Twitter. I follow a lot of bloggers, but not a lot of bloggers I follow know how to YouTube. So it's a very separate world, which I'm kind of one of the few people who frequent both worlds on a regular basis. It's interesting.
Have you been taking this opportunity when you were restricted from YouTubing to blog more? I think I've seen actually you've blogged a bit.
Yeah, I decided to go back into that because my husband let me use his computer for a few days, and I haven't used it to do YouTube yet because I miss my editing program, and I don't really like iMovie, but I may. We'll see. So yeah, I've been trying to kind of write more because writing's something that I really like and I really enjoy doing, especially if I'm feeling down, which I have been because of the whole situation. I've been very sad. Writing sometimes can make me feel a little better. So yeah, I have been trying to get my blog going again, getting that more content there, and then eventually the videos will come if I force myself to. Well, I'm not going to force myself to, but I need to like sit down in front of my camera, which I haven't done. So, but I'll do that. Maybe it'll be the computer. This is helping. This live stream is helping. It's good. Good.
Scozio in the chat mentioned that Nerdy May did a video that's kind of a long thoughts from places type video. It was about Summer Nights by Olin Rogers. Him and a bunch of friends going down to Summer Nights Festival, Weekend Festival by Olin Rogers. It was a very cool video. It made me cry a little bit. The friendship that was very obvious inside that video was pretty great to see.
Oh, I'll check that out. I'll add it to my list.
Yes, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
I used to, before I started YouTubing, so more than 2 years ago, I would put up a blog, write a blog post like once a month or so about my various thoughts on things. And then this YouTubing thing happened to me. When all of a sudden I can just like, within less than a day, I can not only figure out what I want to say, put it up in a video, put it up online, and it might not be worded quite as eloquently as if I had sat down and done multiple revisions of a blog post before publishing it. Sure. But it still feels a lot more me than even my best blog writing.
Because it's more raw. It's your face. I totally understand that. Like, I used to hate bloggers.
The truth comes out.
I did, because so YouTube was created when I was starting out in college. Okay, and I was a film major. And so I had professors telling me, don't put your projects on YouTube. Don't put your films on YouTube. YouTube is not a place for creative film work, right? They're like, it's a waste of time, which it's completely not. But back then when it was new, because, it's a lot of like fail videos and cat videos, and there wasn't a ton of creativity at the very beginning. It was a lot of pirated like TV shows at the very beginning. But then the bloggers started to come out, like Lonely Girl 15, which of course wasn't actually real, but then a lot of other things like that. And I remember thinking, back then, because I'm a very shy person, like maybe not online, but I have social anxiety and I can't, like, the idea at the time of filming myself and putting it on the internet was like the most terrifying thing. I thought, why would I do that? Why are these people doing that? And why should I care about these strangers' lives? Like, they're just people I don't know talking about their lives on the internet. Like, I couldn't understand the concept for the longest time. And that's why I didn't start early with vlogs. Like, I did put, you know, my film projects on there and everything. Because I didn't completely believe my professors. I was like, I don't know, this could be the future. Which it has been. But yeah, I just was so creeped out by vloggers. And then it took a few very specific, because I would still be curious. I would still watch them every now and then, just be like, why are they doing this? What is this? Like, I'm so fascinated by it at the same time. And then a few very interesting people I sort of kept watching, to the point where I really started liking this new format, this new concept, that I think it was in 2009 or 2010, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a vlog. I'm gonna try this weird thing out. And that was on, that was on my first channel. I did my first vlog on my first channel. Then I decided my username's too difficult to spell. I'm gonna make a new channel. So I made a new channel, and I had that one for about 1.5 years. And then I got a copyright problem, which turned out to not have been my fault, but it freaked me out at the time, because before I got my job in an MCN. So I was like, I'm making a new channel. So then I made a new channel right after I got my job at the MCN, which is the channel I have now, MagicCatJenny. And so, you know, history was made. I just haven't stopped vlogging since. But yeah, it wasn't something I was into at the beginning.
Do you remember who those early vloggers were who made you start thinking about maybe getting into it yourself?
Yes. It was yes, I do. And since then I've gotten to know them personally, which is weird, but cool. The very first vlogger was Tessa Violet.
Oh yeah, Mika Kitty. Mika
Kitty. And this is like back in the day, like a lot of her old videos aren't even public anymore. I just something about her that was I just enjoyed. And I thought, oh, she's so interesting. She wasn't the one who made me want to actually vlog myself, though. She just was the one who kind of made me understand the concept of why other people could be interested in it.
Okay.
Then she did this like dance-off video, this like dance-off competition video with this other vlogger named Christina Horner. I was like, she's interesting too. And then because of that, because I went to her channel, I then found 5 Awesome Girls.
Yeah.
And their whole like, each girl had a day of the week and that whole thing. That's when I was like, oh, I think I could do this. I could so do this. And that's what got it started. And then now I'm friends with Christina, and I'm close acquaintances with Tessa, we'll say. Through work and everything. So it's this weird sort of thing where like they sort of, I got the bug from them, and now it's just kind of like my most loved hobby job. I don't know. It's interesting. And now I love it. Now I'm just like, I love videos and YouTube and vlogging. So yeah, it's interesting how
excellent.
Yeah.
Could you tell from even then how, like, I consider Christina Horner to be like a wildly successful YouTuber in a variety of different like arenas, but maybe that's because of what I watch.
Well, she's definitely been able to do so many different things because of it. I mean, like, she's done acting with the web shows she's been in, and she had like a gaming channel too with like some of her roommates, and she's in a variety of different things because of 5 Awesome Girls and the Vlog Brothers and Nerdfighteria and like all of that. And it was really cool at the time. Watching these vloggers at the beginning, you sort of think, okay, these are just normal people, which they are normal people. Then you sort of see through VidCon and all of this, like this sort of fame and this empire that they've created, and then you sort of get this weird sense that they're these online celebrities. But then after that, you come back around full circle and you're like, no, actually, they're just people. We're all just people. They just have tons of people watching them. It's like the main difference, you know. It's very, it's interesting, and I think, you know, a lot of it is being at the right place at the right time, and in the right space at the right time. But also there's some people that are just really good at it, like really good at making content that is genuinely themselves, yet also very widely liked. So yeah, at the time, I mean, definitely, I'm not gonna lie, at the time I was like, I want to be like them. I want to have my own channel with a bunch of people watching me. That'd be a great job. And then, you know, I got the job at the MCN, realize all of the things that go into it, and then kind of come out the other end being like, I'm cool with what I'm doing.
So has your access to behind the scenes of these bigger YouTubers made you not want to ever become a big YouTuber?
No, not necessarily. I mean, if it happened, I would certainly, like, you know, be cool with it. But it's definitely it's a lot like seeing Mickey Mouse behind the scenes of Disneyland for the first time. You know, like taking off the costume kind of a thing.
What is the costume?
Oh no, I don't work there anymore, so I can say this. But no,
I'm gonna
sort of like,
I'm gonna interrupt you with the aside that Scozio says in Scotland the word jobby means poo.
oh, okay. I won't use that anymore.
No, don't use that.
Hobby. Maybe hobby job.
Hobby job sounds clear and understandable.
Hobby job. But no, yeah, like working at an MCN, coming to work at an MCN, being a huge YouTube fangirl, for one, where like nobody else is, and you assume that they are, but they're not. And then sort of seeing these people, and not necessarily like the YouTubers themselves, but just like everybody that goes behind a lot of these bigger channels, and like hearing people in meetings, you know, like production managers and talent managers and just all of the behind the scenes stuff. Like, it definitely was very shocking at first, where I'm just like, none of this is real.
Oh,
It's a very kind of like, what's that movie where his entire world is a TV show?
Oh, The Truman Show?
Yeah, it was a very Truman Show kind of feeling, where I'm like,
interesting.
But they're just people with cameras in their bedrooms, aren't they? This isn't Lonely Girl 15, they're real. And there's that moment where, like, you know, it just kind of upsetting. But then the more you learn about it, the more you realize that, like, you know, people of a certain level get a certain amount of subscribers and, you know, are making a certain amount of money. Like, of course they're a business. Of course they have, you know, people helping them get even bigger. You know, you can't sit here and think that, like, someone like Grace Helbig is just, you know, completely doing it by herself with nobody else. You know, like, you got to realize the bigger a YouTuber is, the more people they have working with them, for them, in the whole thing. And that's fine, because, you know, a lot of them still maintain their own personality, and they are, you know, not sacrificing any of that for the fame. Some of them are, for sure, because that's gonna happen. But I guess I got kind of jaded working at an MCN, where that just sort of became normal, talking about, you know, how much someone's gonna get paid to tweet about a certain product. It's a little.
That's weird. That's so weird to think about.
Yeah, like it definitely got me a little like, oh, that's how much you're getting paid for a tweet? Oh, you know, look at my bank account. Oh. But,
oh man.
And that's, you know, definitely not all of them or anything like that. And, you know, it's a business. It's a certainly big business, which is kind of like killed my dreams a little bit of, like, being a YouTube famous career vlogger, but also kind of in a positive way, where it's like, okay, I don't know if I want to have to make some of those decisions about my content in the future, you know? Like, I kind of like the freedom of like not having too many, I don't know, people telling me what to do, basically.
I mean, that's understandable, and it's something that I think about all the time, is the differences between me as a little YouTuber with a couple thousand subscribers and like a Grace Helbig, like you said, or you know, the Vlog Brothers, or even Wheezy Waiter. Like they're all very different in what they do, but they have restrictions. Maybe not very strong, maybe not very, you know, binding ones. Maybe they feel perfectly comfortable within their restrictions, but they have restrictions because of their size and their associations.
Yeah. And when it starts to become your main source of income, that's when you start, you know, putting self restrictions as well. If it's something that, like, if this is your main job, then it would be, you know, you can't really experiment as much because of the uncertainty. Like, what if you have this idea but it flops and then you can't pay rent? I mean, there's not a lot of people in that situation, but it's definitely something that once that becomes like your main concern for money, like your main source of, this is my job, then you have to start thinking that way, just for your own well-being. And that's the point that I'm like, I don't want to like have to get to, which I don't think I will. I mean, if my husband was a YouTuber and I was a YouTuber and that's all we were doing, then yeah, that would be where I would be, but he's not. So, so it's fine. But yeah, like that's the kind of scary part, where if your decisions about the content that you make may or may not mean you can pay your rent or feed yourself, then that's where it's like, don't want to be able to do something that flops. Have the consequences be low if no one watches my next video. If the worst thing that happens if no one watches my next video is that I'm sad about it, then like that's where I want to be.
My biggest self-imposed restriction, because nobody else really cares, is that I don't want to make videos that are harmful. That's basically it.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's the only time. Like, I don't care if I say something that is foolish, or if I mess up myself or look bad, or whatever. That's fine. I'm gonna leave those videos up anyway, because it kind of shows that I've had an arc as a person. I've like grown. I've learned stuff. I'm not the same person who thought things 2 years ago as I think about things today. That's fine. Yeah. But if I actually do something in a video that does harm to somebody else, that especially if it's someone who definitely is like innocent or good and I've harmed them, that sucks. And that's like the only video that I'll take down.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine thinking about that, which is something I hope that I will always think about, but then also thinking about, well, is this content going to get me paid enough to make rent for this month? I don't want that layer. I don't want that layer of consideration about the videos. That's awful.
Yeah, that's the main reason I don't want YouTube to be my main source of income ever. Because, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think you're really good to have, you know, this idea that, you know, it doesn't matter if I look like a fool as long as I'm not harming anyone else with my videos. And I definitely think that a lot of people feel that way too. At least I hope so. I mean, I feel that way. I don't want to make anything harmful, say anything harmful, but at the same time, everybody's growing, everybody's learning and changing. And, you know, sometimes maybe you had a past video where you said some things that you would never say now, or you slip up and you say something that you would never say now. It's, as long as you know, if someone like calls you out, instead of just like hiding it and being like, what, that never happened, to kind of like own it and say, yeah, I did say that and I didn't realize it at the time, or I apologize, and you move forward and you learn and you grow and you be a better person.
That is the goal.
That is the goal.
Yep. Matt Palka says that he volunteered at VidCon, and at VidCon, seeing behind the scenes was fantastic. I bet it was.
That's cool. Oh yeah, I mean, and a lot of the behind the scenes at an MCN was fantastic too. Like, because there is so many hardworking people on a lot of these shows, and they're amazing and they're talented themselves, and they never get like any screen time. Like the writers and the cinematographers and the editors and, you know, even like the gaffers and all the people, you know, a lot of work goes into these shows. And the ones I'm talking about, the ones I'm thinking about specifically is Epic Rap Battles of History, ERB. Oh. Those guys, they're extremely talented and they're amazing. And they were one of the first like people I met at the job, and they're great. But it's not just them by themselves making these awesome videos. Like, they have a whole team of people. They have so many people working with them to make these awesome creations. And I think that that's a really positive thing about these networks, is like, you get to really have this whole production if you're at a certain level, and the stuff that comes out of that is really awesome. It's really exciting, especially for, you know, a place that was said to be a waste of time by my film professors. It's like, no, it's its own like production.
Professors, what do they know?
And we did everything in film. I mean, in my thesis class, like actual film, which
really? Like
anymore. Yeah. Like, was one of our finals was like loading a film camera under a certain time limit, like in the box, you know, it's because you can't expose it to light, and we did a lot of stuff that people don't really do anymore because it's just so outdated.
Yeah. Wow. I can't remember which YouTuber it was, but there was a YouTuber that I was following. I want to say like probably around 2 years ago, who actually had put together a film camera for the class, like a video film camera for the class. And then when they went into their final project, they actually spliced together the literal film to make final film. And it blew my mind. There are programs. There's an app for that. There are many apps for that now.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't go that far with my thesis. I shot it on film. I had it developed at a place that develops actual film for movies. But then I edited it on Final Cut Pro. Like, they digitized it for me there. So I have like my film reel, probably at my parents' house somewhere. But then I also have the files on my hard drive, my old college hard drive somewhere, of the edited creation, which is not on YouTube anywhere. It's never been.
I was just about to ask, have you uploaded that to YouTube?
No. Originally I didn't, because if you want to submit any films to a festival, at least, I don't know if it's the case now, but at the time, and it might be still, you can't have premiered it anywhere else. Like, the first premieres has to be at the festival. So like, our professors were very like, don't put these on the internet if you're going to send them to festivals. And I don't think I ever did, because I wasn't happy with it. But yeah, it's never seen. It probably, the most times it gets watched is on like the actors' reels that were in it. Probably, if they even have them on their reels anymore. I don't know. Maybe by now it's nowhere. But on my hard drive.
Interesting. I'm trying to think if I have any video creations that like were finished but never saw the light of day, and I don't think so.
Well, I have so many.
I mean, I kind of have the personality where as soon as I'm finished with something, I just want to upload it and show it to everybody. Well, I don't know why, because I'm not.
That's cool. I understand that. Like, you know, you're so proud of the thing you made, you want just everyone to see it. I get that. But like, I have stuff from way before YouTube existed. Like, so many things from before YouTube existed. Like, stuff from high school. I have so much stuff from high school. Like films, movies, TV shows. Oh man. I think I was watching your anniversary show live stream. I was watching yesterday, and I forget who it was, but I think you had asked the question of, did YouTube spark your sort of video making, your love for video making, or did you love making videos before YouTube, and then like continued it with YouTube. And I think, and you were saying it was YouTube that got you into it, which, yeah, awesome. For me, it was so when I was a very little child. I've been making videos and movies since I was old enough to hold a camera, and there are countless hours.
I mean, Matt Polka in our chats is the same way. He can talk to you about the VHS and handheld film video cameras that he's got loads of footage on from throughout his years.
Like the mini DV tapes.
Maybe
I have a box of them. Well, in college too. We didn't use digital camcorders in college, so everything was on your mini DV tapes. And then I have even bigger ones from when I was younger that were like about this big for our camcorder. Oh, hours.
Yeah,
hours and hours.
By the time I got into making video, everything that I picked up was digital. And I've always been on digital video, nothing analog ever.
I want to digitize everything. I want to like, I don't know if I want to put it on the internet, but I want to like re-edit some things and like make them actually cool with like, 14-year-old me acting in them and see what it's like. I think that'd be interesting. But I don't know. I was quite the ham. Despite the fact that I have, extreme social anxiety in school, I would invite people over and then they would see this other weird sort of creative, outgoing side of me, and they were just like, "Are you the same person?" What?
I wish that I had that. I mean, I have social anxiety. I have a hard time interacting with more than a few people at a time, but I don't have a hidden side to myself where all of a sudden that goes away.
No, I think anybody that posts videos on YouTube does, because you talk about really important things, Paul, like on your channel, and you're putting yourself out there, which I think, I think that's pretty common for a lot of people on YouTube is, it's hard to say these things and to talk about these things and to be kind of, in a big group of people being themselves, but yet when you're with your camera, you can do it. You can be yourself, and you can be that outgoing person by yourself in your room with the camera, but then you put it online, and then I think that's, I don't know, I find that a common trait in a lot of like vloggers, that they tend to be introverted people. On average, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, that does pretty much describe me. There's a, I mean, I mean, we've actually hung out in person, so that when I'm around like one or two people, I can talk like this, and this is, I don't think that I'm very different on this hangout from how I was when I was on your couch.
Yeah.
But it's and somehow I'm able to remain disconnected from the idea that as I take this video and I leave it on the internet, that potentially
anybody could see it.
Anybody could see it. Any number of people could see it.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's a little bit different in the sense that it also has to do with being in a position of power. Sounds a little strange, but let me explain it. At school, at work, in a place that I go to repetitively and see the same people, I get very introverted. I don't talk to a lot of people. I don't make friends easily. Like even at my last job, that was just a few months ago, like I was working there forever, and sometimes people would wonder if I was new because I wasn't social. I wasn't social at all at work. I was very quiet, very in my own world. I don't do the like, oh, it's someone's birthday, let's all do a big thing. And I'm very like, okay, I don't talk much. I'm very quiet. But, hi, Jen. Cal NerdCon, the unintentional nerd fighter monthly meetup club that I ended up being the host of, creator of, leader of, I kind of lost that sort of introverted, I'm shy, I don't want to talk and make new friends, because it was this thing where they were turning to me and they were like, okay, thanks for hosting this. What are we going to do? Then I sort of put on my director hat, my teacher hat, and I suddenly am comfortable. If people are looking at me, if I've started something, I've said, we're going to meet here, we're going to do this thing, and they come and they're expecting that, then I can be extremely extroverted. I can say, all right, guys, welcome. We're here to do this thing. Let's get started. Let's introduce everybody, you know? But if I were in like a work situation and it was a big group of people and they would be like, all right, everyone, we're going to go around and talk about yourself, and be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to talk about myself. This is super embarrassing. People. And then I get really shy and like, you know, I get that sort of stage fright thing because it's not my idea. It's like, I don't know. It's very strange. I'm not quite sure exactly why I'm that way. But again, if it's something that I'm hosting, or if I'm directing a film, if I'm like hosting a meetup, I can be extroverted. But if I'm just like going to class every day, I don't talk to my classmates. I can't do it. I don't know.
It is interesting. It is interesting. I am also not particularly social at work. And I don't know. I think I might have been like medium social in classes at school, at university, not in high school, not in elementary school. No, I was made no friends. But at college, I did speak up a little bit and make a few friends. But as you're describing Cal NerdCon, I'm remembering that for a little while I had this group that I created around here that I called DC geeky screenings, where I would get people together to watch like Doctor Who, the latest Doctor Who episode, or like the latest Marvel Cinematic Universe episode, a movie that came out on DVD or whatever, and we just like all watch them together. And to a certain degree, it would just be for fun, but then we could also like analyze it and talk about, hey, that female character was fridged in that movie, and that sucks. Or hey, why did the black character have to be killed right away? That sucks. We could talk about things like that.
Yeah.
And as the organizer of that, I was a little bit more extroverted than usual then, I have to admit. Yeah.
I think it has to do with being in control of the situation. Like, if you're in control of the situation, like you're the host, you're the leader, and it's your idea, like someone didn't force you into that position, like it's something you chose, I think, I don't know, at least for me, you're more likely able to just be yourself and be social, versus a situation where you're definitely not in control. You're a student in a classroom. You're, I don't know how to make it sense for work, but it felt that way. Like you go to work every day and the same people, the same plays, but you're not like hosting the meetings. I don't know. It's the control. When you're not in control, I get just like so clammed up. But when I am in control, it's like I'm at ease. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm in control of the situation. It's fine. When I'm not, it's like, what if they don't like me? What if I say the wrong thing? What if I'm not supposed to be here? What if they ask me something and I don't have the answer for it? Like, that's the worst fear.
I felt a little bit about that when I volunteered for Uplift at VidCon. They had a booth, and it was the the online community organization fighting against sexual violence, particularly against women. I wanted to help. Like I've been like online talking up Uplift ever since they came out.
Right.
Like they started up, and I wanted to like put my money where my mouth was, I guess. And I volunteered to actually do it at their booth and work a couple hours there. And it's funny when I'm just talking about them in my own videos, saying, "Hey, you guys should support them. You should do the Safer Community Pledge, whatever." I'm fine. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. But all of a sudden, I had to represent them in their booth.
Yeah.
With like their specific like scripts and concepts of what they wanted their visitors to learn, and I panicked a little bit. It was very nerve-wracking at the start.
Oh, I can imagine.
I mean, I got into it. Thankfully, Sahithia and Grace Miller and Anne McGavin was also one of the volunteers, and her Poet Puff girlfriend Melissa. They were also there, so I was able to like witness them giving the spiel, and that calmed me down a little bit and realized that I could in fact say the same things as they were saying. I could talk up Uplift the way they did. So that worked out. It worked out okay, and I'm very happy that I did it. I'm very happy that I supported them. But I definitely had that same feeling of I'm not in control of this. This is like I'm doing this for somebody else.
And being expected of you. and you have this sort of self-doubt that you can meet that expectation or that you'll say the wrong thing and you'll like mess something up. Like I know that fear very well. I get that. Yeah.
In the chats, Matt and Scozio were talking about their video footage from days of old, from the like some stuff that was transferred from film to DVD, some footage shot in the 70s on Super 8. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Oh, my dad has stuff like that.
And then Matt said that being the leader does help you be more extroverted, like when he was doing team building exercises in FCCLA. Yeah. So, and Scozio also concurred that he feels the same way.
Yeah, I think it's a thing. There's something about that. I'm no psychologist, but I think there's definitely something to that.
I mean, I think it's probably not even just a matter of extroversion or introversion. I think it's like I have a fear of fast-moving vehicles. It's a minor fear. It's a minor fear, but I do have one, which is why I don't like roller coasters and stuff. But I drive a car, and I can drive my car very fast and have a lot of fun doing it. Doesn't bother me at all because I'm in control of the car.
Got it. Okay.
But if I can do a vehicle that somebody else is in control of, then they can be going like 35 miles an hour, and I'll grab the bar.
It's so funny because I'm the exact opposite.
Ooh.
I don't like driving.
Interesting.
I get very nervous. I mean, I can drive. I'm fine. It did take me a while though to be able to comfortably drive on the freeway. And I didn't get my license till I was 18 because I was too terrified of it. And to this day, I don't like driving. And if I have a choice, I always choose to not drive. If I have a choice, a lot of times you don't have a choice. But if someone else is driving, like unless they're a really bad driver, if they're like a fine driver, then like I'm more comfortable and I feel safer.
Interesting.
And I do like roller coasters, but not really scary upside down ones. Like nothing with loops and corkscrews. Like if you have to put the head bar, the bar over here, then I'm like, maybe not. But like I like Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disneyland. Guess it's not like a super roller coaster. I just don't like the G-force, like hurt pain thing when you go upside down. I don't like that. But I like the fast stuff. Fast is fine. I don't know.
I am a huge roller coaster wimp. Like kiddie roller coasters make me a little bit uneasy. Like should kids really be going 20 miles an hour on this coaster? Come on, slow it down. Slow it down a little bit. Let's take it easy.
Like Space Mountain, is that too much?
I couldn't do Space Mountain.
Okay. What about Thunder Mountain? No? Okay.
I did Star Tours.
That's a little different. Sometimes I don't like Star Tours. Sometimes it makes me sick. They're like just shake you around.
It does shake me. It made me have that like
forward.
No, you're not. It's all just sensory stuff. But I felt a little uneasy anyway because it would feel like I was diving into the
space.
And like I got that tingly feeling at the bottom of my feet that I associate with being afraid.
Oh.
And I know logically that Star Tours is not a big deal. I know that, and yet I still had that feeling. So I enjoyed it, but it was like that was as thrilling as I want to get on a ride. I like a little I think there's in California Adventure there's a Cars ride where you're just like on a big tire and it floats around and you like lean forward, you lean back and you bump into things.
Tires?
That was fun.
That one's fun because you're in control.
Because you're in control. We are joined in the chat by Zainab Blah Blah. Zainab, hi.
Hello.
So yeah, I am a big wimp when it comes to like I don't like scary stuff. I just don't. I think the problem is that I'm afraid a lot of my life. I spend a large portion of my life being afraid of various things. I try to act like I'm not. I'm always acting like I'm not afraid of stuff, but I am so frequently anxious, scared, etc. And I just do stuff anyway.
I got really scared right after I moved here with the thunderstorms.
Oh, right, because you're not used to those from California.
Yeah, we don't get thunderstorms in California. We get earthquakes, but we don't get like thunderstorms, hurricanes, that kind of thing. And you know, I'm not like afraid of lightning because I know it can't hurt me if I'm like, you know, being safe. But it's loud, and I didn't realize how loud it was going to be. And like, and there was, we got these like warnings on our cell phones of like, you know, potential hurricane, go to the bottom floor of the building. And we live on the second floor, so we don't have a bottom floor. And she was like, oh, I'm sure it'll be okay. Let, you know, just wait and check the warnings, and if it gets bad, we'll do something. But right now, I think we're safe. And I was just like checking my phone like every 5 minutes. I'm like, what do we do? I'm not prepared. I don't like that. I was very, very not okay with the thunderstorm. But I've gotten a little bit used to them being here. But still, like, I don't like how loud the thunder is. I'm not used to that.
I mean, you being in Annapolis as you are on the water, essentially. Yeah. You are right where all the fronts hit each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So it can get loud.
Yeah. I mean, it gets loud over here in DC, but we're a little bit further from the coast. It's not quite as bad. But yeah, I understand. I understand. Yeah. In the chat, Scozio says that if you're looking for interesting videos, follow Zainab on Twitter. Yes, I agree. Another good sharer of videos there.
Awesome. I will, after this chat is done, I'm going to go back through all of the comments, and I'll do all the following and the watching. I'm excited.
Something that really upsets me about the way Google structures these live shows is that chat window will disappear. Like all the comments will be gone. Yeah, it sucks.
No. So,
I'll try to go in and I'll try to copy and paste them before I shut down.
Yeah, copy and paste them. I want to go back and read everything because it's hard because it's in another window. I have to like click over to read them, and then I'm like reading them and not paying attention, and then I have to click back, and it's like, why isn't the chat like in the actual Google?
Yes.
We always like have all these weird YouTube questions, and like back at my last job, we had a direct like contact to YouTube. Like we had a YouTube guy we could like, you know, have a phone meeting with once a month or something, and we would ask him these questions, and a lot of the time it would be like, oh, I can either confirm or deny that, or oh well, technically that's not the case. It's like so much vagueness around everything.
Wow, like, I thought you were gonna say you had a direct line to Google so you could get all the answers.
No, that's not how it works. It's just so much uncertainty and changes, constant changes. Things change all the time. And, you know, I went into YouTube, I think it was like right after I got back from Hawaii, but before my computer broke. And I like noticed that the video viewer looked different, like especially when it's like embedded. And I was like, I knew that was going to happen like months ago, but it finally happened. And it's usually like I would hear about it like the moment it happened from one of my coworkers, but they don't have that now. So it's like, what happened?
Yeah, everything looks a little bit different now. Oh, and then apparently they're gonna kill the connection, or like not require the connection between Google Plus and YouTube anymore for comments.
Oh my goodness. It was such a big deal, and now they're just like, oh wait, never mind.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I mean, I actually find the connection to Google Plus a little bit beneficial and useful because I can find stuff over there it's kind of like getting access to just literally comment sections that your friends have interacted with. Like that's what I can see if I go over to Google Plus.
You know, it was such a terrible thing when it happened, because then you had to like, you know, you were forced to create a Google Plus when people didn't want to have a Google Plus. So that part was really unfortunate, but it has a lot of benefits. I agree. Yeah. I think it's fine the way it is right now, but you know, that's just the thing. Like every time something changes on the internet, like everybody freaks out about it, then they get used to it, and then about the time they're used to it, it changes again, and that's just because we're in the middle of this like, you know, internet technological revolution that is just moving so fast. It's hard to get used to one thing.
Yeah, as Zainab points out in the chat, hasn't it already happened? I think it has happened, but how would I know? I haven't posted a video to get any comments on, so I don't know if it's happened yet or not.
No, I should go back and see if I can comment, or see if I can reply to comments that are from a non-Google Plus user, because that's one thing that did frustrate me is people who don't make the change, who don't make a Google Plus, you can't reply to their comments. They can still comment, like from their YouTube, I think, but then you can't, there's no option to like answer their question. So I have to like make a new comment and hope they see it.
Yes. That happened for two reasons. It happened, one, if they didn't connect they didn't make a Google Plus account, and two, if they in their Google Plus settings, they had their privacy set so that you can't reply. There's actually is an option in their privacy settings as well.
That's frustrating. And the person I'm thinking of, I don't think she has a Google Plus, but that could be the case. And it's frustrating too when like people that have that option selected or that don't have the account ask a question.
Yes.
I'm like, can't reply.
Yep. Well, as you said, that's when you have to just make a separate comment and at them or something in their comment. Yeah. It's weird. It's weird. It's clunky. But also Zainab points out that the notifications are dodgy now. Yeah, I think that what happened, I have noticed that I only get notifications some of the time, and I haven't really paid attention to when I get notifications in YouTube now. I think maybe if somebody directly @s me in something, I'll get a notification. But if they just make a comment or if they just do a plus or like a thumbs up, then I don't get any notifications.
Weird. I for the longest time would only get a notification if someone commented. And that's how I would know, oh, I have comments, got to go in and reply to them. But one thing that frustrates me about the Google Plus YouTube comment connection is there are certain Google Plus groups, communities, I think is what they're called, that I do go to sometimes. I know a lot of people think, oh, I hate Google Plus, I don't do anything with it. Well, I do go to, there's a few communities that are interesting. A lot of the times they're blog related. Bloggers tend to be more into it than YouTubers. And they'll have a section of like, post any like video blogs, because not a lot of people do it, but some people do in these communities. So then I'll go in and be like, hey, here's a video I made that's relevant that I think you'd like. It's about this, this, and this. And then I post a link to the video in the little board. And then people go, oh, cool. And they'll like reply in the board. But then when I do that, because I'm logged in to my account, it then creates another comment on that video.
Yes.
With whatever I said. Like I'm posting it in a board saying, hey, here's a video I think you girls would like. It's geeky and is relevant to what you're talking about. And then I'll go to my video and I'll see that comment there from me. Yep. And I'm like, well, someone watching this on YouTube, that's not relevant to them. That's only relevant to this group. But because I'm just like, whatever. Yeah.
Well, and yet that connection wasn't beneficial to the content creator when the content creator was being trolled. So like I would get people who would go to one of my like feminist videos, and then they would share it on Google Plus with like some sort of horrible derogatory comments. On YouTube, I could delete their comment, but on Google Plus, I couldn't do a damn thing about it. It would just stay there ad infinitum. So if the connection is going to be there, why can't I make them not?
Why can't you fix it on both ends?
Exactly. It was very frustrating. I don't know what's going to happen now that the connection is broken. We'll see if anything gets positive. I honestly don't know if it'll do anything besides make people stop complaining about the connection. But whatever. Matt Palka says, has asked if I have checked out Rabbit. I have not checked out Rabbit yet. You have mentioned it before, Matt, and I do recall you doing it. I think you even mentioned it in one of your own videos I've seen recently. But it's a hangout online service where you can simultaneously watch YouTube, Netflix, and HBO Go with people, which is very cool. I mean, I like that idea. That would be a good like replacement for my DC Geeky screenings thing. I could just screen something on Rabbit, and both people could watch it together. That could be cool.
Cool.
I need to check it out.
That would be awesome. I've been meaning to do that with one of my internet friends. Actually, it was an idea we had like years ago, and we never did it. We were both going to watch Labyrinth together and then Skype.
Cool.
Because it's my favorite movie, and she likes it too. And it even inspired one of our collabs a bit. we did like a fantasy short film together, which we had different point of views on each of our channels.
Oh, neat.
And I played the older her, and it was like this weird forest.
No, I've seen that. I think I've seen that.
Okay.
That was really cool.
Yeah. I love doing collabs like that. Like if you want to do a collab with someone that doesn't live by you, I like making it a film in a way. You know?
Yeah, I've seen that because when you and I were talking about doing collabs way at the beginning, you sent me over the link to that as an example of a thing that we could do, even though we're not living in the same place. Of course, now we are kind of living in the same space, so we could do something.
We should, before you move to LA, we need to like film something in the same vicinity, and then yes.
Well, I mean, my plans for LA have been delayed a little bit. The stuff that I'm working on at my job, at my company, isn't going to be finished rolling out this year, so I have to keep on working there for the rest of that project rollout. But I've already talked to all the department heads of my company about my moving to. I started reading the chat. I'm moving to California next year, and they are all okay with it because we have clients in LA who keep on asking us to have a presence out there. So I might move to Los Angeles and then like open up and then rent out a small office space so we can have a Los Angeles presence for my company, which would be very beneficial to everybody involved. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that could be cool.
I miss LA. Oh, we were there for like 2 seconds when we were transferring planes. When we went to Hawaii, we like had to go from DC to LAX, and then LAX to Honolulu, then Honolulu to Kauai. But we were in LAX, which we've been in so many times. It's like, it's the airport of LA. And we're in there, we're just like, California sunshine. Okay, goodbye. Like, it wasn't long enough to do anything, just to get on another plane, but you're like, oh no. But it's okay. I think we're going to try to go home for Christmas because both of our families are in California, are on Southern California. So
interesting. If you are back in California for the Christmas time, I might ask you for a favor.
Oh,
which is to this, like, basically, if you can do it, to check out what it's like around Christmas Eve after midnight. Do you know off the top of your head? Is it like as crowded and trafficy as ever?
I don't think it is. What we do for Christmas Eve after midnight, I'm not sure. Christmas Eve we spend with Jim's family. They have a party in, I think it's in Fullerton, and then I'll drive back to my parents' house, which is in Brea, which is right next to Fullerton. So the Southern California area, Orange County. I don't think I've stayed past midnight, so I don't think I've driven around past midnight. But I don't think. I mean, it's hard because when you talk about trafficy, that's really dependent on what you consider trafficy. Like when I moved to Annapolis, they're like, "Oh yeah, when going up to DC, it gets really, it's a lot of traffic." Or even just driving around Annapolis, it's during the week, it's really a lot of traffic. And I'm like, no, yeah, this is great actually. I lived in Los Angeles, so I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't count on it being, super clear roads. Especially in Los Angeles, I would assume it's still gonna be, you're gonna run into traffic anywhere, any day, at any time in Los Angeles. But I feel like in Orange County, it's probably pretty empty at Christmas Eve, where I spend my Christmas. But yeah, I don't know. Just off the top of my head, LA, always expect traffic.
That's what everyone tells me. Like the driver who picked us up from LAX to take us to VidCon was telling us the exact same thing. It's like always busy no matter what, except for like a little bit less busy between 10 o'clock and 1 a.m. And that's about it. 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. But otherwise, it's always busy. And that's fascinating because around here, like I think of DC, not Maryland, but in DC, I think of DC as being full of traffic all the time, except after midnight around holidays, it just is dead. There's like nobody on the streets.
Well, and you guys have like the difference of weather too. Like you guys have real winters, and I feel like people, at least what people have been telling me is that people drive less during the winter because it's awful. So, you know, if you can avoid driving, people avoid driving. Whereas, you know, in California, we don't have seasons in California, especially LA, Southern California. There's no seasons. It's either hot or like chilly and like in between. There's nothing, there's no snow. There's no winter. So, you know, there's no weather that's going to make people not want to drive. Unless it's like raining, people will still drive. It'll still be trafficy. They'll just be really bad at it because they don't know how to California.
Oh, geez. Thank you for coming to watch us for a little while, Zainab. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for coming.
But yes, before I go to LA, we should hang out and shoot some videos together. We have a year and a couple months.
We should go kayaking. We just bought an inflatable kayak.
What? That's awesome. Yes, please.
Yeah, we went last weekend, Saturday, and then we went Sunday, and then we went yesterday. Jim got home from work early, and we took it out and just like kayaked around because there's water on like 3 sides of where I live. I'm on this little peninsula, so there's, you know, the Chesapeake Bay right there. So many different little parks you can just, you know, take off from. So we were like, we need a boat. We live in this boat town. We need a boat. So we got, I think it was only like $120 online, this inflatable kayak. And it's just awesome because we can just go whenever we want.
That's so cool.
You should come and we'll go kayaking. We'll go out for a little bit.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And I'm not an outdoorsy, like sporty kind of person. I like the outdoors, but I'm not super into outdoor adventurous activities that require muscles to do them. But I have done a lot of that kind of stuff lately. Like I hiked in Hawaii. I went hiking.
Yeah, I saw your Instagrams.
Like my mom didn't believe it. She was like, "You hiking? That doesn't make sense." Because I'm so out of shape. I'm such an indoors kid. I mean, I love nature and I love forests and I love the poetry of being outdoors. But then when it's like, hey, we're gonna go on a hike that's gonna take like 3 hours and you're gonna get really sweaty and uncomfortable and your muscles are gonna hurt, I'm usually like, can I just read Lord of the Rings underneath the trees? I like it free, but I like sitting. So yeah, like I hiked, and now we have a kayak, so I'm kayaking, and it's so uncharacteristic of me, but I'm really getting into it. I like it.
Marriage has changed you.
I know. I'm being a stronger person, literally. I'm like actually getting in shape, which is good.
That's I mean, I by default am very similar to you in how you react to outdoorsy activities that require muscles. I would much rather read a book inside or like within view of nature without having to actually traverse it very much. Yeah, that is the kind of kid I am as well. But I mean, I understand when I was in Hawaii, I did a lot more activity in Hawaii than I did anywhere around here because it's beautiful and it's like a.
What island were you on?
Whichever island Waikiki is on.
Okay, I'm not sure. I was on Kauai, which is, I think it's the most northern one.
Okay.
And because my friends were getting married on Kauai, one of them grew up on Kauai, so it was like her hometown. She gave us a ton of advice of things to do, places to see. And we basically used her little list of like, you should go see these places, eat at these restaurants. And that was like our itinerary. Like we basically decided we're going to do this hike, we're going to go to this beach, we're going to go to this restaurant on this day. And then we like sectioned them all out and then just had an amazing time.
Oh, that's so cool. I just Googled it. It was Oahu. We were on Oahu.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I mean, it was basically we were there because I was there because I was on a Valentine's Day week-long trip with my girlfriend at the time. And we had a friend who had moved from this area to Oahu. So we just stayed in her guest house, so we didn't have to pay for a place to stay.
That's really cool. That's
and so we just explored Oahu. There's a lot of touristy stuff because of Waikiki and because of the beachfront stuff, but it was still really nice. And we went up to the North Shore and we went to Hanauma Bay and a couple other things. At one point we swam, like there's a section where you're told you're not allowed to touch the coral, but you can kind of swim over the coral as long as you don't touch it.
Did you snorkel?
Yes, a little snorkeling. So we did that, and then like just a little bit away from the coral, there were with the time that we were out in the water, there had been sightings of sea turtles, and
nice.
and like one of them came like this close to me. It was so cool.
That's so awesome.
Dolphins and stuff. It was great.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, we did some snorkeling. We didn't see any sea turtles, unfortunately, but we saw a lot of coral and a lot of fish. And there's just so many different beaches, and they're all like different. And we got to see a lot of places that not a lot of people were at because we had this sort of insider, local knowledge.
Nice.
And it was just so great to just like wake up in the morning and be like, what do you want to do today? I don't know. Let's go to the beach for a few hours and just hang out. And then let's go get tacos and then maybe go on this hike. And it's just such a relaxing time.
See, now I realize they are very different experiences, but the way you're describing that experience is kind of what I'm looking forward to living in California. Like if I could find a place that's like, for example, like around like Seal Beach or something like that I explored, I could potentially do that. This is exactly what you're describing. Matt in the chat says he went hiking up in Ithaca for a while last weekend. I hear that Ithaca is gorgeous. Matt,
is that the same? Is that the same as the college of the same name?
I believe so.
Okay, I have a friend who goes to that college, a YouTube friend, who is now doing study abroad in England, and I'm super jealous of her, Haley. She just posted her at King's Cross, and I was like, very cool. Cool. Traveling's great. Travel's awesome. I love going to new places.
I like going to new places as well. I think it's a quote that's attributed to Mark Twain about how travel makes you a good person, something like that.
Oh, cool.
And I think that is whether or not the quote is correctly attributed. I think that it is accurate because the more you see of the different types of ways to live life, the more empathic you can be. The more you realize that like your tiny little experience isn't the only experience that's out there, isn't the only valid one. And travel is a big thing for that.
It's that sort of realization of that your lifestyle is not the default.
Yes.
And I think we all know that, but it's much different knowing it to actually like experiencing it. And like, going to a grocery store in another country where they don't speak your language, or where English isn't the default language, and just thinking like, oh, they don't have this certain product that I'm used to. That's just not a part of their life. And it's the thing, like you know it. You're not ignorant. Like you know that that's the case, but then like to be living it is this whole other layer of understanding and sort of like, it's really cool is what it is. It's really cool. Like I remember the first time I was in a Swedish grocery store, and like they would be like, oh, here's like the fish paste, and here's the this, and these are like what we buy every time we're here. And like, oh, here's this tiny little section of like American food that's like novelty, like, ooh, like, Frosted Flakes. Ooh, what a weird American thing. And I'm just like, this is so cool. This is so completely not normal for my normal, but it's their normal. So it's just like, I don't know. I find that stuff like just really great to experience.
I agree. And Scozio just Googled the quote I was looking for. The quote is apparently, travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Yeah, that's the quote I was thinking of. Thank you, Scozio.
That's a good quote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, as we're getting into our last half hour of talking, I want to make sure that we talk about a couple things about you, Jenny. Like, for example, I really liked those feminist pins that I got from the Nerdy Monsters Etsy store.
Yay! Yay! I'm glad you like them. Oh, I'm so happy. I saw your Instagrams of you giving them to people. It made me really, really happy. Yeah. Do you want to know how they kind of came to be?
Yeah, please do.
Inspiration?
Please
Okay.
tell.
So I bought a button maker a few years ago, initially for Jim's band. They wanted like merchandise and everything, and I really wanted a button maker for like the longest time. So I finally invested the money in getting one so I can make Long Holidays buttons. So we would sell them at shows and everything, and that was great. But then I started an Etsy shop to make little plushies, little nerdy monsters.
Oh, Nerdy Monsters.
As they're called.
People who are listening to this podcast can't see them, but I am seeing on my screen. We've got the sign for Nerdy Monsters. We've got a plushie, a little green plushie of Nerdy Monster. It's very adorable.
So yeah, so I was already doing this on Etsy, and then, you know, I wanted to make pins, and I had my friend over, Kirsten, and me and Kirsten were talking about like what kind of pins we would buy, you know, like what would we want to wear, and we were kind of saying, you know, something that like expressed our feelings about the world, about social change, and things that like we wanted to like just shout to the world, basically. Like if I was to buy a pin, I would want it to say break gender roles, or I would want it to say feminist killjoy. I want to just kind of, you know, let the world know like this is what I believe in, and you know, this is what I'm interested in, you know. So we're like, that would be really cool. So we had this little list in my notebook of like all the buttons we would buy if we were buying buttons. And then eventually I just sat down on my computer and I just made some mock-ups, some designs, and I printed out a bunch of them, made the buttons, you know, gave some to her, and I had some, and then for some reason the break gender roles one just started selling. People just kept wanting it. So then recently Jim was like, why don't you make a button pack? Why don't you make some more? So then I made the consent is necessary.
Yes.
Which you know, I was like, this needs to be a button. So I have this list of buttons that I want to make eventually. And yeah, it's just, I like creating things. It's just fun to work with your hands and to design things on, you know, Photoshop, and I enjoy that. And then two, like if I'm going to make a button, I'm going to make it about something I care about, and maybe if I care about it, someone else would, and then, you know, then Nerdy Monsters became not just about cute little nerdy plushies, but also about feminism and the things that are important to me in button form. Yeah.
Which I think is excellent.
So
yeah, the consent is necessary buttons, the two of them, because I got 2 packs, so the two of us went fast. Like because my approach was I put all 4 of them on my shirts.
And you're like, what do you want?
I just waited to see if anybody reacted to any of them. If somebody said, "Hey, okay, I like that button," I said, "You want it? It's yours."
That's so cool. Oh, that's so nice.
With one exception, I kept one of the Teen Witch buttons hidden away because I wanted to give that specifically to Anne McGavin, because I like.
Oh, I love Anne.
And as soon as I saw that button, I thought of her, and I had to give it to her, so I did. Nice. But everything else, I just gave away to people who asked for them, and they were very they were in demand. I don't think I gave one to Matt. Matt, before VidCon, Matt Palka said that he wanted one of those buttons, but by the time but he never asked me for one. So I gave them all away pretty fast. Oops. But people can buy them from your Nerdy Monsters Etsy store.
Actually, I think the consent one isn't, you can't buy that one separately, but I may change that. If people liked it, I'll make it available on its own. Right now it's available in the 4-pack, but I'll make it available on its own if someone wants it. Also, I want to make more. I have a list of like, you know, the ones that I want to make, but I also do take requests too. Custom designs. If anyone are like, I really wish this was on a button, I'll make that in existence. It'll happen. If you want buttons of your YouTube channel, you want me to make that, like, I'll do that too.
Yeah, I might take you up on that.
Yeah.
Take you up on that. Like I have waffle button from the first VidCon I went to. When I saw Jackson Bird then at the time. I asked for one of their Will waffle buttons. I got one. We weren't even like at a meetup or a panel or anything. We were just like hanging out at the festival stage. We might have been watching Lauren Fairweather. I just said, "Oh, I like your Will Waffle show," and they said, "Do you want one of these buttons?" And I said, "Yes, please." And I put it on my little lanyard immediately. I still have it.
I should do that. I should bring MagicCatJenny buttons to the next con I go to and give them people.
Yeah, absolutely.
To go to a con. I should try to see if I can afford to go to a con. We'll see. Moving's expensive. Moving is very expensive.
Yeah, one of many reasons why I really don't like moving.
Yeah, it's a little tough, but
resistant. Matt Palka, your channel tagline. You have so many things that you say at the end of your videos. Are you talking about everybody Palka, or are you talking about something else, Matt?
He'll
but you also
6-second delay.
Yeah, the 6-second delay. But you also, Jenny, have taken what you've learned at your MCN work, and you'd like to do some consulting on your own, right?
Yes, that is my next endeavor. I worked as an optimization marketer at my last job, and what that is it basically search engine optimization, making sure YouTube is doing the best practices, getting its best shot at being discovered. So if you're doing YouTube and you just like want your friends to see, you don't really care, then maybe it's not for you. But if you want to get your stuff out there, if you want to put your best foot forward with YouTube, I know a lot of the tips and tricks and the kind of things that they don't really teach you in like the YouTube creator playbook, basically. And I would love to help you if you want to hire me to do that individually. I definitely want to do this for companies like that are completely clueless. They don't even know how to upload a video. Like that's who I'm assuming my main customers are going to be. You know, they need help actually building their YouTube up for their product. But I do want to offer stuff to people who are just new to YouTube or just need some help. Anything from like setting things up to researching your analytics and providing, you know, I can provide basically an analysis of what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, what you could be doing to be doing better. I've dabbled in graphic design, so like banners, icons, things like that. I also edit, so that is another thing that I'm willing to be available for, editing.
You're an everything shop.
I really do. I really want to do that as like freelance, as an independent consultant, because there's not a lot of MCNs in the current place where I live, but I can do what I did there individually if people are looking for it. So that's kind of my goal. I think I might have to make a portfolio website once I get my computer back that kind of has more detailed things that I offer. But yeah, that's sort of my next step is to show people what I know and see if they need help.
That's awesome. I mean, I'll be looking forward to your online portfolio or whatever sort of site you set up to advertise yourself, and I'll be sharing that all over the place. Because I mean, you know, back when I saw your live stream, it was just after I think I'd watched a few of your videos where you talked about optimizing your YouTube channel and a couple of things that you could do. So yeah, I mean, you obviously have the knowledge.
Yeah.
And I'm going to support you. Matt Palka says he's looking for a button of his channel tagline, which is "Everybody Palka." A little play on his last name. That was a play on his last name that I believe Mike Falzone came up with, which is a great origin story for a tagline.
Very cool. I like it.
Yeah, me too. I say it all the time. Every time I see Matt, I say it, and nobody's even asked me. What's that?
Matt, we'll be in contact. I can help you out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What else did I want to talk about with you? Those are the big things I wanted to make sure that I brought up in this conversation. That you have the awesome Nerdy Monsters Etsy store, and that you're going to be providing consulting services. Was there any other stuff that we wanted to bring up?
I think I talked about at the beginning that I want to bring back my live shows.
Oh yeah.
And there's one more aspect to them actually I didn't talk about yet is I want to do shows that feature videos from YouTubers that are less well known. So like, and I've been on shows talking about this before. Like I've been on Red Bulk podcast a few years back, which is created by the same guy that created the Less Than Famous panel. And I talked about that. I was in this YouTube documentary video series, What is a YouTuber? So, I've been in so many of these things, and I've talked to so many people about what it's like being a YouTuber who is dedicated, loves making videos, yet isn't a household name. Mm-hmm. That sort of world. And that's the world I live in, and that's the world I really love, and I want to uplift the people within that world and to expand everybody's sort of circle of people they watch. And I mean, I want it too. Like, you're actually a super big inspiration, Paul. You seem to know so many people in that world, and I find so many of my new favorite channels through you, that this is the kind of thing I want to do, a show where we talk about video making, talk about video optimizing, but then also talk about those videos, those video, and feature, I think maybe 3 or 4 videos per show. And then what will also exist will be a companion playlist that will change each time there's a show. The playlist will change, and there'll be like an intro and like little interstitials and then an outro where I kind of talk about the show and talk about these people. And I think that'd be really fun. I think that would be cool, like a YouTube talk playlist / live show, because there's nothing out there that exists. Like, I've been searching. I want to find a good podcast where people just talk about what's happening on YouTube. And I've seen podcasts that talk about like how to get YouTube famous, and like, you would think, oh, like YouTube SEO, and I listen to it and I'm like, this isn't anything. I don't know. This isn't news. This isn't helpful. And they're not actually talking about the actual videos. They're just like, this is how you should create a banner, and you should put your Twitter on it. Did you know? Or you should tell people that you have a YouTube channel on your Facebook. It's like, yeah, it's not. I know. I think
a lot of people know that. That seems so like very surface, obvious kind of stuff.
Exactly. And so I was trying to find a podcast to listen to that would be like, hey, have you heard of this video from this person? No, you haven't, because they have 500 subscribers. But maybe they could get more if you all watch this video. Like, I wanted something like that to exist. Nothing like that existed. So now I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna make it exist. That's the attitude we need.
We're joined in the chat by Catherine the 13th. Catherine the 19th. You think I could be able to read it? It's right on my screen. Hi, Catherine. Sounds like an awesome show idea. I'd totally love to watch that. Yay for small YouTubers. Yeah. Yay for small YouTubers indeed. I will say, I've definitely not found a podcast like you're describing either. There is an occasional YouTube show called BAM, B-A-M ! That Echo Gillette, I think, is the person who's behind it. And that is a show that's specifically about highlighting small YouTubers. And so I'm not sure if it's like a weekly show or every other week.
That sounds exactly like something I would want to watch.
Yeah, and she apportions out her show so that there's like, I think she tries to make it a diverse and a well-rounded group of small YouTubers per episode, and there'll be maybe like a vlogger, a comedy type person, maybe a skit type person, and then maybe like a musical artist type person. And these are all going to be small YouTubers, and she'll like talk about what makes their channel good, and then she'll show them maybe like a 10 to 15 second clip from one of their videos to give you an idea of it, and then she'll have links to everybody at the end of her video. It's a really, really neat concept, and she does a good job of putting the show together.
That's cool.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
I need to look at that. That sounds very similar to what I was thinking of doing myself. So I need to watch that for sure.
I mean, I don't think the market is not saturated with this concept, so there's plenty of room for lots of shows that do this. Considering that I can think of maybe like that one, and also One Time Stories does that a little bit kind of obliquely because it features small creators. Definitely. But that's like two things I can think of out of the hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels that I watch. There's plenty of room for another show by MagicCatJenny.
I want to do it. I want to do it.
Awesome.
I hope I can. I gotta wait till September at the earliest to do anything like that, but it is on my list. Cool. Well, yeah. If people want something like that, if people would be interested, then I think I'm gonna try and build something out.
The hard part. Sorry.
I was gonna say definitely involving playlists in conjunction, because I think that is a good way to like make it really accessible for people to like then just, oh, they watched the thing, they heard about the thing, now all they have to do is click this, and then here's all the things we talked about, and then they can then go to those channels and subscribe and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, the curated playlist idea is a really good one, which I don't think I remember seeing anywhere else. The closest I can come to thinking about that is occasionally PBS Idea Channel will do something like that.
Right, yeah. I love that.
And I think maybe The Good Stuff is kind of like that, but they talk about, it's a playlist of their own videos basically, rather than a playlist of other videos. And it's not about YouTube at all. It's neither is PBS Idea Channel. It's about their specific concepts.
I think what I would have to do is I would have to have a rotating playlist that would always be the current videos, so that it would change out all the time. So it would remain short and it would remain digestible for people watching. So like maybe 3 of the videos have to be under 4 minutes, but then the 4th one could be like long, could be whatever that's at the end. And then in addition to that, maybe have a everything playlist, which has all the past ones. So that one
very cool
getting added to, so it has everything, but then there's the current one, which is constantly refreshing each 2 weeks or each month, or however often I can actually manage to produce the show, which at this point my goal is once a month, maybe twice a month. We'll see how many people I can get, because I want to have a host, or I want to have like a guest too, like this. Like I would host each show, but then I would have a guest who would bring a video, and then I'd bring a video, and yeah.
That's awesome. I really like that idea too. That's brilliant. That's nice. I was going to say that one of the problems with the idea of sharing videos that I have, I'm not saying that anybody else does. Like Bam does, Echo does a great job with Bam. Leslie does a fantastic job hunting down new people for One Time Stories. But the problem that I have is that it is hard for me to reach outside of my small networking social circle. Like I know mostly light-skinned people who are either teens, 20s, maybe early 30s, speak English, and care about feminism. Like that basically sums up 99% of the YouTube channels that I subscribe to. So it's hard for me to look outside of those circles to bring somebody new in and talk about, hey, this is a new person that I've discovered.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, I don't think it's something you should feel too guilty about, because you surround yourself with people that are like you, and that, especially with the feminism thing, like, of course you're going to want to watch people who care about the same things you care about. Like, that makes sense. But I think it is also important to allow yourself to watch and discover and find other people who may not fit into your sort of world. And it's hard. It is hard. So I think, I think just it has to do with just meeting more people and being open-minded to a lot of different viewpoints.
I mean, I went from the I didn't get a chance to see the Women on YouTube panel at VidCon, but I did get a chance to participate in the Women on YouTube workshop at VidCon, and like what is spawned out of that is just astonishing with the hashtag and the Facebook group for women creators on YouTube. It is huge, and I think it's allowing a lot of women to discover other women creators who are not like them, like from all over, and it's amazing that that's happening. And for me, I took the race and representation panel, and I looked at a lot of the people who commented on there and a lot of suggestions that were left on the video that I posted about race and representation, to try to hunt down people again who are like not in my demographic, who are not like, who don't look like me.
Yeah.
And I've added a few people of color. I've added a few Latinx YouTubers to my sub feed who have been great. I've been really digging that. I like Allison, and Josh Has Time just started the Lunch Club collab, which is highlighting Asians and Asian American YouTubers. That is great. I've added a bunch of people to my subscribe feed from that, which you'd think I'd already have, but no, even I didn't have a lot of Asian people in my sub feed, and now I have more. So awesome. I'm working at it.
That's so cool. That's great. Yeah, I think I need to like do a complete, maybe not a complete, but I need to go through all of my subscriptions and really kind of redo them. Maybe I follow so many people on YouTube, probably not as many as you, but I definitely follow like upwards of 500 channels, and I've gotten to the point where I don't watch everything in my feed. It's impossible to watch everything in my feed. I don't have that many hours in a day to watch everything in my feed, but I do find myself skipping channels regularly. And there'll be channels that I never watch that are still in my feed. And I think sometimes you have this feeling of I don't want to unsubscribe from someone because then, you know, I feel really bad about it or whatever. And I think what I want to do is I want to just kind of wipe the slate clean and then just start new. Because I've had this feed for like, how long has it been? Like 3 or more years. And the people that I watched 3 years ago are not the people that I watch now. Some of them are, but some of them are not. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of the stuff I want to watch get buried, you know, and I'll find out that a channel I really like has posted a bunch of videos, and either it's the algorithm just kind of being terrible and not showing me when they upload, which is a lot of the time the case.
Yes, yes.
Or I just missed it because of all this other stuff that I'm not interested in that pops up, and I don't know. It's just the subscription feed is increasingly more and more useless to me.
You are not the only person to say that.
I feel like I need to make my own curated list that may be more difficult to create, but definitely would be nice to just not miss the things that I really want to see. And again, that may just have to be unsubscribing to channels that I don't watch or that I don't watch all the time, which is sad because I want to be subscribed to everybody. But it's
I will tell you that a trick that I have to try to stay as abreast of all the people that I care about as possible, and that is that I do a combination of following people on Twitter and making sure that my sub feed is not cluttered. Plus I also use a browser plugin for Chrome that I can't remember who recommended it to me, but somebody, I think in one of these chats, recommended to me that there's something called subscription grid for YouTube. I think I
tried that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and that seems to not miss videos. I don't know why the default loading of the subscription feed misses some videos, but the subscription feed grid doesn't seem to.
It's the algorithm. It's not a mistake.
Ugh.
Yeah, and this is one thing I learned at work, is that it's not, it uses your past sort of like interaction on the website. So like, let's say you haven't watched a channel for a certain amount of time, their videos will stop showing up on your feed. So it's kind of the self-fulfilling prophecy of, oh, I missed a video, so I haven't watched them in a while. And then as a result of that, they're just not on your feed anymore, even though you're subscribed to them.
Yeah. Kevin Geesey said something like that in one of his videos.
It's so frustrating. Like the subscription feed is not everything. And they know it's not everything, and it's not supposed to be everything anymore, which makes no sense to me because that's what it originally was. The purpose of it was like, here's everything. But now it's like, here's things that we think you want to watch based on stuff.
I mean, it'd be understandable if they did something like what Facebook does, which is like most recent versus popular. And most recent shows everything, and popular shows literally the most popular things.
Exactly. And I would want that because then I could go to, you know, most recent and then not miss a thing. And then if I'm like, oh, what's trending right now? I'm curious as to what non-YouTubers care about, my friends, whatever. Then I go to the other one. But honestly, I would be on the recent one more often.
Yeah. So I use that subscription grid, which allows me to see, I think, more of the videos that get posted than the built-in sub feed. And then I also follow people on Twitter who, if I go to their videos and their videos are such that I want to literally comment on it or share that video, then I make sure to follow them on Twitter. With the exception of, I've decided that it's kind of weird for me to follow teen girls on Twitter, so I'm gonna not follow them. But everybody else, if they're like 20s, 30s, and they have a public Twitter feed, I'm going to follow them, and that way, if they post their video on Twitter, then I have double chance of seeing their.
Yeah, that's really
and then just with the subscriptions themselves, as they come up every day, if I see a video if I see that the same channel is posting videos that I'm not watching, I'm not gonna let YouTube just hide those from me. I will actually unsubscribe to those channels, and it feels bad, especially with small YouTubers.
Exactly. That's why I haven't done it, because like, also then you reconnect with someone maybe, and then you have to like resubscribe to them if you realize, oh wait, I really do want to watch you, and then they get the email, and then it's like this whole, you weren't subscribed to me this whole time, and it's hard. I think what I need to do, because I have a lot of bloggers that I follow on Twitter and a lot of like SEO marketing people that I follow on Twitter, that I feel like even if I started following all the YouTubers on Twitter, I do follow a lot of YouTubers on Twitter, I'd still miss things. I miss so much things. I'm following so many people. I use TweetDeck, which allows you to be signed into multiple Twitter accounts at a time. Because there used to be the Cal NerdCon had a Twitter for a while, and my Nerdy Monsters Etsy shop has a Twitter, and I've like connected to International Geek Girls Pen Pal Club Twitter, and now their camp Twitter. So I work on and/or run a lot of Twitter accounts. So TweetDeck lets me like to see them all next to each other, and it's really nice. So maybe what I need to do is I need to create a Twitter for my new podcast and only follow YouTubers from it.
Oh yeah, smart.
And then that way, that feed will be just YouTubers. Oh, that's a good idea. I need to go do that. I'm gonna go make that Twitter after this.
If that doesn't work out for whatever reason, it sounds like it's a fine idea, but if it doesn't work out, I take advantage of Twitter lists as well.
Oh,
like
okay.
TweetDeck and TweetBot and various other third-party apps are pretty good at allowing you to have a list that you have created show up instead of your feed, or like beside your main feed.
That's what I used to do with YouTube.
Yeah.
Until they took that feature away.
There's still subscription lists, but the subscription lists are as bad as the main subscription feed. It doesn't show everything.
I couldn't access it anymore. Like, I created a ton of lists of like different types of YouTubers. Like, here are the booktubers list, and here are the sort of creative filmy people list, and then here are the like daily vlogger list, and the not so daily but also vlogger list, and then these social justice vlogger list. And so I'd have all of these lists, so when I was like, oh man, I'm in the mood for this type of video, I would go to the list and everything would be there. And it would be everything, but they completely deleted that feature. So all the lists I created are gone.
It's deleted. I thought it was still there under managed subscriptions. Hold on one second. I'm going to just see if I'm telling a lie. I don't want to tell a lie.
I couldn't find it. I researched it because this happened after I left my last job, so I didn't have someone to just ask. And so I just researched it, and the feature I was using. You're
right, it's gone. What the heck?
Yeah, and I spent so much time making all of those lists because I follow like 500 people, and they're just deleted, just gone. No more lists.
I mean, I think there was an in-between period when it became as dysfunctional as subfeed, so I stopped looking at them. But yeah, you're right. The lists I made, because I had made lists as well, they are all gone.
Yeah,
it's so sucky.
And I understand why they took it away, because that's what YouTube does. That's what Google does. They take away features that are underused.
Yeah.
And so that they can devote their time to features that more people use. But unfortunately, a lot of the features that are underused are used by the creators, and community people. The features that are more commonly used are like the general public, which is the majority of YouTube users, is the general public. But unfortunately, a lot of those YouTuber, creator features, community people features, just they don't last very long.
People in the chat are also groaning at the fact that you can't have subscription lists anymore. Yeah. Catherine the 19th, Scozio, Matt. Yes, those lists would be useful if they were fully functional. Very sad that they're gone.
They were useful.
But that's okay, because we can all just like subscribe to Jenny's podcast show, and we'll get that information from her.
Oh, I hope so. Oh man, if anybody watching this is interested and wants to like has video suggestions for me or wants to like be on a show or has any ideas, like email me. We will talk. I want to make this a reality. I think it would be great. Awesome. And I want a ton of other point of views too. I want to not, I don't want to pick all the videos. That's the thing. I can't pick all the videos. That defeats the whole point. So
that's excellent. What email address do you want them to use? Are you okay with sharing that?
I have an email address that I made for collaboration, so we can use that one. It's MagicCatCollab. It's actually on the YouTube channel. If you go to like see business email or whatever, and you like click the thing, it says MagicCatCollab. Very
cool.
Yeah. So email me there. I will respond. I promise.
Excellent. I did link to your channel in the description of this live show, so there'll be a link to your channel, and then they can go and take a look at your email address on your channel and get into it.
Oh, thank you, Paul. Paul, you're great.
I try to help people who are great. If I have any greatness to me, that's from that. Who's it? Catherine the 19th says what we really need back are video responses.
No.
Everybody I know who's vlogged for 2 years or more, who's like been attentive to YouTube for 2 years or more, misses video responses. Like 100%.
You're so perfect. I mean, nothing's perfect.
Oh, well, except for Scozio, apparently. Scozio doesn't understand video responses. Everybody else.
Such a staple of like the like YouTube, you know, I want to say community, but like just the way YouTube worked, and like it was a part of it so strongly, and like the history of it, and it's just you know, having a video titled and then the video, it's so sad that it's gone. It's a historical thing now, you know. It's like when you see people who point where would they point like here or here, one of those, to like check out in the comments, which, you know, of course now it's check it out in the comments, but you know, those old videos where it was here, and history.
Yeah, now they point off to the side to indicate the cards.
Yeah, I love cards. Do you love cards? I love cards.
I like cards, but in the little press release about cards initially, they had a little sentence in like the next last paragraph that says, "Eventually, we would like cards to replace annotations." Yep. And
that's the part I'm not happy about.
Yeah, and that is the part that I'm not happy about as well.
Talked about at work a lot. Is that is their intention? I don't know. You never know what's going to happen, right? But that's the idea behind them, which is a little scary. But I like that they are viewable on mobile. That's one of my big like pluses, because you can't click annotations on a phone, on an iPad, on a TV. And I know I said before that I mainly watch YouTube on my computer, but I occasionally, you know, I have an iPad. Sometimes I'm out, I, you know, have my phone. And sometimes it gets frustrating. And then, you know, you think, okay, usually if you link to something in your annotation, like you link to it in the comments, like, or in the description. That's, most people do that, right? Not everybody. And so when you get to that and you're like, oh, I want to click that video, let me just click the point when they put it in the description, and then they don't, and then you're just like, oh. Yeah. So the fact that like cards is just like boop, boop, it's just so nice, so convenient.
It is nice, but I'm perplexed by that rationale that that's the reason why we need cards is for mobile functionality that annotations can't provide. Because the way cards work is if you tap on your screen mobile device, then all of a sudden you can see cards. If you're just playing the video, you don't see cards. So why not just have that exact same functionality surfaced with annotations? Where if you tap on a video, then all of a sudden you can see annotations.
Right. Yeah. I think we've talked about this before. I remember actually talking about this when you were here. But yeah, obviously, I kind of assumed it was some sort of technological roadblock that they ran into, which may or may not be the case. I mean, my only thinking is the reason why they didn't do that is because for some reason they can't, because of the size difference on like different platforms. Like the video is never going to be the same size all the time. So on a computer, it's built out that way. And this has to do with, programming and things that are beyond me. But my assumption was that cards would be the same place, the same thing everywhere, so that it was an easier thing to code and to create, I guess. I don't know.
It's definitely easier. It's definitely easier.
Yeah, I like having them both. Is what I like.
If YouTube were to say, "Hey, just kidding, we're always going to have annotations. We're just not going to be able to make them functional for mobile, and that's why we have cards." If that were like a YouTube statement, then I would be much reassured, and I would go back to using annotations because I miss using annotations. Like annotations allow you to inject art into your linking. Like you can have like hidden annotations. You can have like annotations that like make up a pattern of stuff. Like you can do some really cool stuff with annotations that you just can't do with cards.
So did you stop using annotations completely?
I did, to force myself to learn how to use cards.
Okay.
In an efficient manner. And so that's all. So like I think like the day or two, like the video or the second video after cards were announced, that's all I was using. No more annotations.
I use both because they're both still functional.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll usually use more cards than annotations. Like in the annotations, depending on the video, of course, I'll usually do one to like the last video or relevant video, whatever. But then in the cards, what's cool about cards is you can link to not just videos, but to a lot of different things. So I'll link to either the previous video, the related video. I'll usually also link to the playlist that the current video is in. So like, let's say I'm doing like a booktube video and I'm talking about like, here's my bookshelf tour. I'll then also link to my booktube playlist where there's also like my TBR piles or book reviews. And so it's kind of like, oh, you're watching this booktube video, you like booktube? Well, I made some more booktube videos if you want to see more. Or if it's a Disney video, then I'll link to my Disney playlist. I like having that option where it's like, it's you're self-promoting yourself and you're doing the things you should do for optimization, but you're also at the same time like doing it thoughtfully. Not just like, oh, you're watching my Disney video. Here's a link to music videos that have nothing to do with Disney, but you should watch them. It's like, no, maybe link to your other Disney videos because
that makes more sense.
Be, interested in and would get something out of.
One thing that frustrated me right from the start about cards was, and I don't know if this is still the case because I haven't uploaded a video in 3 weeks, but there was a limit of how many cards you could have on a video. There was a limit of 5.
Yeah.
And that frustrated me because like before cards, back when I had my old outro screen, I would have links to like a little annotation link to a couple of different channels. I'd have a link to my previous video, a link to the future next video. I might link to like my Twitter, a couple other things. And now I can only have 5 things in an entire video.
Yeah. Well, I think a reason for that is also because every time you link something, it's going to pop up where you place it in your video. So you're going to have a little pop-up thing at the top for every time. So 5 seems to be, at least in my opinion, like enough. Like if you had 12, there would constantly be something up there, and that can get really distracting. I would think, especially because you can't like you can't really exit out of it. It has to be there. It's not like an annotation where if you're like, this is in my way, I'm going to click X. You kind of are forced to see that. So I think maybe that's why they limited it. But
that also brings up another concern that I have. We're just like complaining about YouTube at this point. But another thing that I thought was there should be an option to not have the teaser pop out.
Well, you know,
because I don't need the teaser to pop out.
You know why they don't do that is because, you know, the point of YouTube's goal is to get people to watch more YouTube, to keep them on the website. That is YouTube's main goal. Keep people watching YouTube. So if they had this as a optional thing, you can opt out of seeing that, then, you know, they're not going to keep watching YouTube. You know, like you can opt out of annotations, and I think
I understand this, but it's not their tube, it's YouTube.
Well, we'd like it to be YouTube. That's what we want.
That's what we want.
Content creators, we want it to be about us, but the reality of the situation is it's a company, and they're about making money, and the way they're going to make money is through ads, and the way they're going to get people to watch ads is to watch more videos.
Yep.
It's sad but true. So what we can do to combat that is to keep doing what we're doing and making friends and using it to ways that make us happy, despite the fact that, you know, YouTube cares about YouTube.
Yeah. So because I don't use annotations now, it's a positive thing to my trying to avoid using annotations to figure out how to use the other technology available to me is that now I definitely have links in my doobly-doo.
Yes.
Like when I tag somebody for a tag video, you know, previously I might have just like put up their names on the video. So this is the person's name, here's the person's name, here's the person's name, and you can just click to their channel to see the person that I've tagged for this video. Now it's gonna be in the doobly-doo. You'll have a description because I don't have enough cards available for that.
I love that. I love putting links in the description. I love anytime I talk about a video, annotate to a video, place in cards to a video, it also exists in the description.
Yep.
Every time, everything.
Yep.
It's good. It's so good because, you know, you never know what someone is used to, you know, doing to find another video. Maybe they're used to annotations. Maybe they're used to cards. Maybe they're used to just looking in the description. And if that's what they're used to, that I just make it, I try to make it as easy as possible for someone watching my video to find more information about anything I might be talking about.
Yep,
and
likewise.
Like, oh, I'm going to show you my latest nerdy monster that I made. I'll link to my shop in the cards. I'll link to my shop in the annotations. I'll link to my shop in the description. Just because it's like, I'm not like trying to overbear you with marketing and commercials. It's just like, which one is your favorite way? It'll be available.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the nice thing is that, you know, all three methodologies don't overlap with each other. Like when you're looking at the annotation, that's just something that you've created there manually. If somebody goes to look at the card section, they're looking in a different section of your video. And obviously the doobly-doo is different from both of those. So I don't think it's overbearing at all. It's just it's helpful.
Yeah, that's the goal, to be helpful.
It is.
Oh, and a cool feature too that they recently added to cards that wasn't there when it launched is the ability to link to a channel.
Yes.
Which was one of my biggest complaints when it first launches. You could link to a video or a playlist or another site, but you couldn't link just to a channel. So if I was like talking about someone, or if I did a collab, I'm like, oh, check out their channel, and I link to their channel in the annotations and the description, I couldn't just put that in the cards, and that was so frustrating. So now they've changed that, and you can link to any YouTube channel in the card. So that's like so great for collaborations and for like promoting other people. You can just be like putting their channels there, which is, yes, good.
It is good. I do like that. I fill up my videos with cards. I take advantage of every one of those 5 spaces.
Nice.
It's always
2 or 3.
It's always the same thing for me. It's always a card to the previous video, a card to the next video whenever the next video publishes, a card to my Patreon, a card to fan funding, and then and then a card to my Twitter.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
I changed mine up, but I also haven't uploaded a video in 2 weeks. So I need to get back in the practice of it. I don't know. What do you think I should do, Paul? What do you think I should do, people watching? Should I wait till I have my computer back and my editing software and like put my best foot forward? Or should I just do something like this week on Jim's computer?
While we wait for the 6-second delay for the viewers to respond in the chats, I'm going to say that the best thing about your channel has always been you. It doesn't really matter content-wise what camera you're using. It certainly can be prettier. It certainly can be nicer if you can edit it with a good editing software. But in the end, you know, I'm going to come back and I'm going to watch your videos if you're in it.
Aww.
So ASAP, get more Jenny on the internet, please.
It's really nice of you to say that. It's also exactly what my talent manager told me. Which sounds weird that I have one of those because I really shouldn't, but I do. And she was like, the point of your channel is you. So make more videos about you, because I was having a mental like block, and she was like, just talk about yourself and your life. I'm like, okay, I guess so.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that you, a friend who's good taste and I trust, says the same thing, then I guess I should start to believe it.
And I am not a talent manager.
No, you're not. You're not my talent manager. You're just a friend.
I'm a little bit worn out, and it is now 4:15. So shall we wrap up?
Yeah, let's let people go live their lives.
Ozio says that the description box is so underused. It's sad when I go and try to find information and it's empty. I agree. It's so sad when the description boxes are empty. Yeah,
I like putting everything that someone might want to look for there.
Me too. Matt Palka, in response to your question about whether you should wait or put up your vlogs, says just do it, pulling his best Shia LaBeouf undoubtedly.
Okay.
Yes. I would 100% watch and like and share a video of you reproducing Shia LaBeouf's "Just Do It."
No. Oh my goodness.
Scozio also says, yes, get a video up soon.
Wait for Tuesday. I might see what happens on Tuesday.
Hooray. Well, thank you very much for joining me on this live show, Jenny.
Of course, Paul. You are very welcome.
Do you have any typical... Hooray. We'll do it. We'll do more collabs. I'm around for another year, so we're going to do stuff. Do you have a typical outro that you use for your videos?
Sometimes. I can do it right now.
What's that?
I just go, bye, see you later. Wow.
That is an excellent outro. You are on brand. And I say that this is the end of the video. This is where I say that tomorrow will be even better. Thanks for watching, everybody.